Hey, I'm Stevan, and I'm here chatting with Milky. So I don't really come from a musical family or anything like that. And I didn't know anybody who was in music. In fact, I think I was far away from the scene in Sydney and stuff. Like I was in Wollongong, which is like an hour down south. And I got into music when a cousin of mine came from Melbourne and he just showed me all these artists. And we were on like a website that used to be really popular called DatPiff and Mixtape Monkey. And yeah, we used to just download all these classic mixtapes. Like I downloaded Frank Ocean's Nostalgia Ultra, downloaded a lot of the first Odd Future tapes, downloaded Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper, downloaded 1999 by Joey, all these like really classic projects. Flatbush Zombies as well, Better Off Dead. I've just got to shout out all these projects because they were so instrumental in influencing me. But yeah, that's kind of how I got my start. And then I tried to produce music. We went to this private school where they'd let us borrow the laptops and take them home. So yeah, I'd take the laptop home and I'd be on GarageBand trying to produce, and my friends would rap on it and it was trash. Eventually I started doing it because I was like, these people suck and somebody with some talent has to sing on these songs. Yeah. Me. I think the EP started, or the ideas of the EP started when I came back from my trip from America, because I'd had this really good run of shows with the Rubens. You know, I recently had gotten signed. It just felt like I was in a position where I got everything that I kind of wanted at a given time. But I guess there was just like a lot of stuff that I hadn't worked out or worked through. So the EP was my way of working through all of those things. And I had moved out of home for a little bit and I was living with some mates in a share house doing young people things. But yeah, during that time, I just set up my equipment in like my room and I was just exploring. And I was just exploring what I was feeling, exploring all the sounds that I was listening to. I was listening to a bunch of like Tame Impala and Pond and Tori and Moi, acts like that. So I guess it kind of just bled into the music at first. Yeah, I just was kind of led by how I felt. So like, you know, I'd want to express different feelings and different genres seem to fit better for that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just great to have the project out after so much work and consideration and effort. I think it's just a reflection of my development, hopefully, as a person and as like a songwriter and producer or whatnot. It feels incredible to spend so much time working on something and just being like, okay, this is eventually going to have a place or have a home, and then for it to finally be out. I kind of like, looking back now, didn't really know that the project was going to become what it was. Yeah, now that it's out, I guess it's just like it can become something else for a lot of other people. Like I'm excited to see how people like take stuff from it and take stuff from different songs or whatever, and how that sort of influences them, what they think I'm talking about versus what I'm actually talking about. And I'm excited for it to live with people the same way it's lived with me, because that's when you really know something's good, right? Like, you know, I could be like, yeah, this is the best thing ever, like in my room and vibe out, but people kind of give it their own meaning. So I'm excited for that, you know. I think writing this project was all over the place for me. Like usually songs for me come in like one sitting. I know that sounds crazy. I will get probably 90% of a song within the first 8-hour block, and that's how it'll happen. Like I've got issues with my attention, but I also have like I can focus really well when I do focus. So, you know, I'll get an idea and then it'll excite me for like 6 hours. I might stop and like eat or drink water, you know, because you need to do that, drink water. People who are watching this. Writing this EP was incredible because like I would come up with like a guitar line or something, or I'd hear like a melody and then I'd lay it down and then I was able to let it go and then come back to stuff, which I never thought I'd be able to as a musician. And some songs were created like a year apart from other songs, which is another thing that had never happened for me. And just paying attention, like the attention to detail, I think on this one was like a lot more intense than what I normally do. I'd normally just kind of wing it. Then usually I get lucky and get a song, but this one I kind of went in with some songs. I was just like, I want to make a song that sounds like this, like that sounds like Kevin Parker produced it. And that was a big challenge for me, because I'm like, I'm not Kevin Parker. I'm not. So it's very hard to then like adjust your skill set, adjust your like your musical perspective, and be like, okay, I normally make indie music and now I'm gonna try and make some psych rock pop thing or whatever. It was tricky, but I enjoyed the challenge. there's so much for me that's just gratifying. I feel like it legitimizes me. So maybe some of it is ego, not and you can't really do anything without like a little bit of ego, but I think hopefully I approach it from like a place of humility as well, because part of the reason why it's gratifying is like I want kids who look up my credits on Spotify to know that they could do it with the same setup that they have at home. Like there's not all these barriers to entry, which you think that there are when you're young, and I thought that there were. But then as soon as I learned that I could just make it and I didn't have to pay like some producer like $5,000 and some dude like, songwriter like $10,000, like, it feels so daunting when you feel like you can't do it. So I think me doing it, I know that someone's watching me, and I get heaps of messages. That's the most thing I get messaged about. It's like when my fans or my supporters are messaging me, they're like, dude, what's this plugin? Oh, how do I mix this? How do I do that? And it's just like, it's so possible for them. And that means there's way more creative people out there pursuing their dream because they don't feel like there's so many gatekeepers. For me personally, without like considering my audience or people who are inspired by it, I think for me, it's kind of just like, you have ideas and like the ability to truly be able to like take something that's in your mind and actualize it without needing to wait for somebody like a session musician to come in and play something or somebody to write the right line. It's just you have the ability to really express yourself like without any like limitation. I don't have to wait when I feel like inspired, and I kind of use music in that way. It's become my job, and people listen to it, but I need to do it, and I need to write the songs and I need to produce it, or else I don't get that sense of satisfaction. And everyone's process is different, but that's just me. That's my advantage anyways when it comes to it. It's cheaper too. It's cheaper. Just write and produce your own music, man. It's cheap. For me, I think it'd have to be If She Stays. And I think the reason why I really like that song is it has all the elements I think that make me like, the guitars, like the indie vibes or whatever, the chill vibes. But more so, I think the songwriting. I think for a bit there, I was just focused on trying to write the best type of songs. And I was kind of disconnected from putting a lot of myself into my music. It's a really honest song about like something really simple, which is just like a relationship, but I feel like only I could have worded it that way, or I could have written it, and that's why I think it's worth sharing to someone and being like, this is the first song. It's so me, like, and I think that's the only thing that you have that really separates you from anybody else, is hopefully you're being honest, and I think that's an honest song. So that one. I can't remember it, but it's like this painting and it's got something, the nature of something. I can't remember it, but it's like called The Nature of something. And it's this painting, and I think it's of like this river and this like little bridge or whatever. And like I looked at it recently. That's the only reason why it's the first thing that comes to my mind. And I guess the reason why it's relevant to the EP, or why I think it would represent the EP well, is because it, like, not to be simple, but it is what it is, And I feel like that's what I was going for with the EP. I just wanted to make something where it's just like, okay, there's like a lot of creative elements going on. Maybe there's some musical proficiency, hopefully. Hopefully. I just wanted to make something that's on surface values, like you listen to it and you know exactly what I'm saying, you know exactly where I'm at, and it's just like upfront. And I really like that painting too, because like it's laid and it has all this meaning and it's beautiful, but like it's just a pretty picture of like a bridge and some by the river and some leaves. You can look at it two ways. Like you can deep it and be like, this is really profound, or you can also just enjoy it for what it is. Hopefully the EP is the same type of vibe. Yeah. The Truth of Nature. There you go. Hey. There you go. Yeah, The Truth of Nature. A lot of exciting touring plans. Touring with a friend, Maya. Where's the applause? Yeah. No, touring with Maya. She's actually a great friend. Funny little story about Maya, actually. She was the first person I ever had a production session with, ever, which is crazy. And then she ended up becoming super famous. And I am really excited to play alongside her, supporting her, because I think her audience and my audience, it should make sense. It should make sense. And she's just really cool and she's really fun, and her project is kind of similar in some ways, different in other ways. And I'm just excited to kind of learn from her as well. She's done such a great job of building a really committed fan base, and her interactions with her fan base live are pretty great because I've seen her in concert. My own tour probably towards the back end of the year. Some festivals. I'm going to be playing Yours and Ours. So, pull up, come see me. I'm going to be tearing the house down. It's going to be amazing. Oh yeah, I got a new band. What great. We did Like a Version recently. What great. Check us out. were great. I've been listening to a lot of Mac DeMarco recently. He's influenced everybody, but I'm going to put him on the list. I've been listening to the Pharrells, the Tylers, the Franks. Brent Faiyaz has been really good. I really like Stevie Wonder, Bill Withers, Al Green, Fela Kuti. Kali Uchez is really cool. Like, I liked a lot of her music. Sade, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, D'Angelo's great. Steely Dan. Someone put me on to Steely Dan. I was like, this is pretty great. There's one album that I like from them that's really cool. Fleetwood Mac, after they had that big song that came back, really started listening to them a lot. Yeah, just anything that's good. My dream collaboration would be JPEG Mafia. I don't know how we'd make that work. Like, we're sitting on the complete opposite side of influences and styles, but I just like his passion and I like his production so much. I'd love to work with him. He seems like such a cool guy. I met him actually at Splendor and he was really nice. I don't know if they'd count it as an album, but like Frank Ocean's Nostalgia Ultra, like I remember like I played that like every day. I used to play that every day. It came out in like 2011. I must have heard it in 2012, 13. And I played that like from the beginning of high school until the end of high school. And I just fell in love with all these songs like Swim Good, like Novocaine, Songs for Women, We Try. There's just so many amazing songs on that and it's opened my mind to music. So yeah, that one. I'd create the soundtrack to a movie called The Lobster. Yeah, you guys know the movie. Recently, nothing. And that's been the best thing ever. Like recently I get up on stage and I'm like I think it's the best thing when you're not thinking of anything. I used to think about stuff. I used to be like, oh, am I singing right? Is the guitars are like a little bit off tune, or like, oh, what do the people think? And now I just kind of look at people and I'm like, they're here and I'm up here and this is happening. This is heavy. Wow. Miley. Bobby Brown. Every little step I take, you will be there. Every little step, I hope so. Yeah, that song. I remember that playing in the house as a kid, and I was just like, this song is crazy. So yeah, I love that song. Oh, first concert I went to was Pond. It was a Pond show, which is crazy. That was amazing. Yeah. I hate to say it, because he's the op, but Steve Lacy. I saw Steve Lacy. He did a lot of talking. I didn't love the talking, but the performing was crazy. This guy was yapper. Feel free to add this in too. I want the beef to be known. No, I'm not even trying to be funny. This guy was. Oh, Spice Girl, 100%. I watched the movie. I watched the movie growing up. That movie was like fire. I loved the movie. Yeah, what was it? I forget which Spice I'm thinking of, but I had a huge crush on her. Mel B Spice. Scary Spice. Yeah. Oh, that's tricky. That's a hard one. Steven Spice. Oh, that's great. Yeah, let's not do Steven Spice. Smooth Spice. Pink Panthers. I'd love to hear her cover one of my songs. I think she'd do like a dance version of it, and that'd be crazy. I'd say it'd either have to be like the Beatles, or like, I think a big one that's kind of underrated is Stevie Wonder. When I started doing like a lot of digging into like his whole process and his business moves, like how he conducted business, and also like on the like songwriting and production front, like this guy actually produced on a lot of his own material and played a lot of material, played like drums and stuff on his own stuff. Like people don't know that. I didn't know he could play drums. It's crazy. But yeah, like the Beatles, Stevie Wonder, stuff like that. worry less, stress less. Like, you know, what's going to happen is going to happen. You worrying isn't really going to do much. I was in class and I'd uploaded like a song on SoundCloud like the night before or 2 nights before. And I opened it up and it had been added to this playlist on YouTube or something. And it had like 10K like likes on it and shit. And I went on the comments and there was all these people like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I looked at that and it was something that I had just made in my bedroom. And I think I used like Apple headphones to record it. It's back when they had the jack and you could do it. And I remember like feeling like, oh, if these people are saying it's good enough, you know, maybe I should try and continue to pursue it. So that's when I was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to give it a crack, give it a go. Music means a lot to me. I think it's right now my whole life. It's my job. It's the way I express myself. It's the way that I connect with other people too. I think people kind of know me as a musician now, majority of the people that I meet. So it's like everything at the moment. I want to continue to be as passionate about it as I am now, hopefully, for a while.